Hello, how are you? So this isn't scripted or planned. I'm just gonna start talking. But 2023 was the worst year of my life, hands down. I thought that I would be doing so much more in terms of like my films and just my career in general. And I ended up getting mold toxicity, started having these weird, health issues in May. And that kind of spiraled into me getting a little bit worse and worse. And finally me finding out that it was mold in my house. And ultimately making me super sensitive to it and just on and off super sick. I've been unable to focus on a lot of my projects that I've wanted to do. It's really hard for my brain to work sometimes, and obviously I can't create if my brain's super foggy and I'm just fatigued all the time. But on and off I've been feeling better and I've been detoxing, and that's just been a crazy process. But for me it's not entirely negative because I feel this like inner strength come out that I've never felt before when I'm, jogging through the woods and I'm, listening to epic music, and I just feel that inner fight like come out to where I'm like, you know what, I could get past this. Like I can get through this. We always say that things are cliche when we're talking to cameras or we're writing on social media, but when things sound cliche, it's because usually they're true, because they're said a lot. And I just feel like there is a silver lining to this. I feel like I almost feel reborn in a way. I've learned more about myself and life in general in the past 6 months than I have in a really long time, and just like kind of facing that darkness and despair. I've taken a lot of creativity from it, but the hardest part is not letting that darkness and despair consume you. That's kind of the fine line, because all of the best art comes from people's struggles and their experiences that aren't the best, in my opinion. Obviously there's good experiences and things like that are awesome as well, but I think that as humans we're really drawn to like the mysterious and the dark, and sometimes these situations kind of force us to enter survival mode, or a mode that we wouldn't have been in if we weren't thrust into a particular situation. So I'm learning to take this illness into my my art, and basically just hopefully shed light on what people don't know about mold, and just an understanding of like life itself, I guess. I'm kind of just blabbering at this point, but yeah, I am upset that this happened to me, but at the same time it's made me stronger than I ever thought that I could be, and it's given me a better understanding of what other people are going through their struggles, because obviously as a filmmaker, or even just as someone looking at someone else's predicament, like you see a homeless person, you see someone struggling with domestic violence, someone with all of their belongings on their front lawn, they just got evicted. You can think in your head like, oh, that's horrible, and imagine what it's like, but we don't really know what it's like to be them unless we've been there ourselves. And I think that as a filmmaker like me, I've never suffered. I've never went to bed hungry. I've never struggled to pay my bills until now. Like through this suffering comes understanding of what other people have to go through. But also with all of those negative things happening, there were a lot of positive things this year. I got to work with the YMCA and do a huge project for their fundraising campaign. And I didn't think that I could do it, you know. I was super nervous. I didn't think that I had the talent to be able to pull it off, and they absolutely loved the video. They said it was the best one that they've ever had, and that just really, you know, it really made me feel good. It was the first time that I ever like really kind of collaborated with a client on like, you know, what are you looking for? How are you trying to, you know, portray this? And I started giving them ideas like, well, let's humanize it. Let's, you know, let's show these kids and their stories more. And it worked out really well. I was able to create my first documentary film and show it off to over 100 people at 2 different screenings at a theater in my city, and that was just one of the coolest experiences. I was able to make the film that I'm most proud of to date, One Life, where you know, I just talk about my parents, and at that time I didn't know that it was mold that was affecting my health, so I was in this headspace of like just kind of being like very spiritual and just like really starting to think about what it means to me to be alive. And without being in that headspace, I don't think the film would have turned, I know the film actually wouldn't have turned out the way that it did. So, I mean, there wasn't all negatives this year. I was able to do a lot of cool stuff, but you know how we are as creators. We always want to create more and more and more, and we feel like if we're not, that we're not doing anything, and that's not true. I think that that's the hardest thing to balance, is we see all of these other creators on the internet constantly doing awesome stuff, and we think that if we can get to that level that we'll be happy. And I realize that that's not true. You know, I guess if you made it this far into the video, if there's one thing that I could tell you, it's to not always look at the negatives of your life, to not look at them in so bad of a way, and to look at the positives of being able to relate to others. And you know, people always say like, oh, you know, going through hard times, it's gonna make you strong, it's gonna give you thick skin, but I don't want thick skin, you know? I wanna feel what's happening to me. I wanna feel all of the good and all the bad, you know? That's what makes us human. Life isn't always amazing, but it can be at times. And at times it can be just downright awful, but that's life. And I want to feel that. I want to experience that and bring that emotion and that experience from my own life into my films, into my art. So yeah, I just wanted to talk to the camera, honestly. And I hope that you took something from this. So thank you so much. And the channel going forward, I really want to focus on, you know, documentary filmmaking and what my process is, you know, on Milanote, and like planning, and you know, talking to my subjects, and like interviews with them and how they feel about, you know, my process and all of those things. Like really in-depth documentary filmmaking, and where I'm coming from as a filmmaker. And that's something that I don't really see a lot. Maybe there is a lot of channels out there that do that, but yeah, that's my idea going forward. I would love to have a lot more videos by now, but I'm not gonna pressure myself. You know, I have a lot going on, and honestly, in the big picture, it doesn't really matter so much. Like if I'm, you know, pushing out videos constantly, I just kind of make them when I want. But I'm gonna try to have a more consistent schedule. So thank you so much if you made it this far. I truly appreciate it, and I hope that you're doing well, and I hope that 2024, I'm really gonna try to make it a lot better, and I feel that inner fight right now. So I'm really looking forward to see like what happens, and I'm just excited to get better and create my projects going forward. So thank you, and have a good day.